We're sewing up cute zipper bags and we're starting right now. Let's do it. Hey guys, it's Elizabeth from elizabethmadethis.com, helping you sew something creative. One of the first videos that I did was all about making little zipper bags. And I called them the fastest zipper bag because it really pretty much is the fastest zipper bag. Because what we're gonna do is we're going to sandwich our zipper between the fabric, and it's just so fast when you make your zipper bags this way. Not only that, it's way easier to sew. So if you're a beginner sewer, if this is something that is totally new and zippers make you kind of like die inside a little bit, this is gonna be so easy for you. You need some cotton quilting fabrics or something maybe a little bit heavier. Like canvas makes a really great bag. So you could put canvas on the outside and a cotton fabric on the inside. Whatever you have, you've got scraps, it's a great way to use up scraps. Denim works really well. Just make sure that if you use a heavier fabric that you use a lighter fabric on the inside. So today I'm using cotton quilting fabrics, and you also need a zipper. And I'm just using a regular nylon zipper, not super long. We're not going to use a dressmaking zipper. It's just between 7 and 9 inches is really great. You can see I used a metal zipper on this one. Whatever you have is totally okay. Metal zippers kind of look a little bit fancier, but a nylon zipper is just great. And actually in nylon zippers, I'm going to recommend if you have never sewn a zipper before, because nylon zippers are super easy to sew through. So if your needle accidentally nicks the edge of the zipper, it's probably not going to break a needle. So let me show you just how easy and quick it is for you to make these. So the first thing we want to do is cut our outer fabric. So whichever fabric you want on the outside of your fabric, cut 2 pieces 10 inches by 7 inches. And then cut your lining fabric 2 pieces as well, 10 inches by 7 inches. And if your fabric feels a little thin, cut 2 more rectangles the same size of fusible interfacing. Fuse that on the wrong side of the outer fabric. Next thing you want to do, go ahead and pop on your zipper foot on your machine. And now you want to make a zipper sandwich. So lay your zipper face up on the table. Next, you want to lay one of the outer bag pieces on the zipper right sides together so that the top long edge of the fabric matches the long edge of the zipper. Now flip your fabric and the zipper over and match the wrong side of one of the lining pieces to the wrong side of the zipper. The edges of the outer fabric and the lining will be matching, and the zipper is going to be sandwiched right in between those fabric pieces. Next, stitch right along the top edge of the fabric. You won't be able to see where you're stitching on the zipper, but you'll be able to feel the edge of the foot moving along the right edge of the zipper teeth. The goal is to keep the edges even as you sew. Use your hands to pinch everything together. This is a really short seam, so you really shouldn't need any pins. When you get to the zipper stop, lift the presser foot and your needle and move the fabric just out of the way. Pull on the slider to move it out of the way of the zipper foot. Then put your needle back down where you stopped and finish stitching to the end of the fabric. Admire how your zipper is stitched nice and clean between the 2 pieces. Okay, next we got to sew the second side of the zipper. So repeat the zipper sandwich step and sew the second side of the zipper the same way. we're gonna go on to sewing the bag. Okay, most important step, unzip the zipper. If you don't, you can't turn the bag. Well, you will, but it's gonna be frustrating. So just do yourself a solid and unzip the bag. Fold the fabric out flat so that the right sides of the lining are matching to each other. The right sides of the outer fabric should match too. So you need to feel with your fingers where the zipper is. Depending on exactly the make of your zipper, it may be a little bit more than a 1/2 inch from the side. If it is more than a 1/2 inch, go ahead and grab a ruler and draw a chalk line so that you're going to draw a nice straight line over just that bottom edge of the zipper. We want to sew right past where that zipper stop is, or the zipper end is. Now we need to sew around the perimeter of the bag with a 1/2 inch seam allowance. You want to start in the middle of the bottom of the lining. Sew to the corner, then leave your needle in the fabric. Lift the presser foot and pivot the fabric so that you're ready to stitch down one of the sides with the zipper. Lower your presser foot and keep sewing right on that line that you marked with your chalk. When you get to the zipper, stop and do 2 things. Number 1, pinch the ends of the zipper together and fold them towards the lining. If you do this, you will not get a lumpy zipper when you go to turn your bag. Also, it's a really good idea to go slowly. You may even want to use the flywheel to work the needle. If you go slowly here, I promise you will not break a needle on the zipper. So just those last couple steps, those last couple stitches right as you're going across the top of the zipper, just turn your flywheel towards yourself so that you don't hit the needle on the zipper. Keep sewing until you get to the corner of the outer fabric and pivot again at the bottom, and then leave your needle down, lift the presser foot and turn the fabric so that you're looking at the bottom edge of the fabric. Now, sew the bottom edge of the fabric, pivot again, and sew up the second side with the zipper. Again, when you get to where that zipper is, fold the zipper ends, fold the tape of the zipper towards the lining so we don't get Mr. Lumpy Zipper. Go all the way to the end again and pivot one more time, and then sew right towards that middle, but you want to leave about a 3 to 4 inch hole in your lining on the very bottom. Next we get to turn the bag right side out. So grab your scissors and cut the corners at an angle and reach inside the hole that you left in the lining and pull the bag to the right side through the hole. I find it's really easier to grab the zipper to do this. Grab a chopstick and gently poke out the corners, and now we get to press it. Keep the bag flat and press all the edges. Make sure that the seam allowance is folded toward the inside of the hole in the lining. We'll close that up in the next step. Also, press the bag where the zipper is sewn to the fabric. Use only the tip of the iron and keep it away from the zipper teeth. Why? Because nylon teeth will melt if they touch the iron, and if you melt your nylon teeth, you will not be able to zip up your zipper. So don't do that. There's a hole now in the bottom of your bag, and this is the last thing that we need to do for sewing to close it up. So take the bag back to your sewing machine and stitch close to the edge through both layers of the lining. Start a little bit before the hole starts and back stitch a couple stitches, and then move forward and then back stitch right at the end, just past where that hole stops. And the back stitching is gonna lock that stitch right in place. So now slip your lining inside of your outer bag and tug on the ends of the zippers. Tug on the ends of the zipper so that the ends of the zipper sit right on the top of the bag, and give everything one more nice press. To finish it off, if you like, you can put a little piece of ribbon through the zipper slider, or you could put a little charm on the end of the zipper. It just makes a nice little finish. Zip it up and you are done. Okay, so let's jump into some frequently asked questions. So at some point you might have some issues that you run into along the way, and so this section is hopefully going to help you answer some of those questions and troubleshoot a little bit. So I will spat off the questions and then we'll get a little bit closer so you can see a little bit more what I'm talking about. Okay, so question number 1. What kind of fabric should I be using for the 7-minute zipper bag? So the thing is that you want to use something that is kind of medium weight to a little bit heavier weight. You can see with this cotton lawn that it's a little bit too sheer. So if I want to use this, I can either use this as a lining, or I can cut a piece of it and interface it, and then this would be fine if I wanted to use this as an outer bag. Still, given how thin it is, I would want to use something that's thicker on the inside of it. So something like this cotton flannel, which would be a much better choice for these two. But even still, just putting these two together, I can kind of feel that it's gonna make a pretty thin bag. So that's not really what I want to have in the bag, so I would interface this one and use that second thicker fabric just to give it something more sturdy to do that with. Another thing that I like to do with these bags sometimes, if something is really thin but I really like the outside of it, is that I might take a piece of cotton canvas and just cut a piece of that and just baste it to that, and then use a different fabric for the lining. So let's pretend that this is my outer fabric. So I would cut that piece of cotton canvas and I would put them together, and then I would just stitch right around that and then treat that as one piece of fabric, and that would be a better way to interface it too if I didn't want to use a feasible interfacing. Okay, other choices for the outsides of bags are cotton canvas. This is a really great one for this. So I would use this plus a cotton quilting fabric. That would be great. 1 layer of cotton flannel plus 1 layer of cotton quilting fabric is good. If you want a lighter weight bag, you can go at least minimum with some two layers of cotton quilting fabric. Those are all really good options. Other options, denim, twill on the outside plus a cotton quilting on the inside. Those are all really great choices. The worst thing when you make bags is when you put 2 layers together and they are just kind of sad looking, sad feeling. So kind of put 2 layers together and see how they feel. Does it feel like a bag? If so, then go for it. Okay, question number 2. Let's say I didn't want to make a bag I wanted to make a smaller bag. So if I wanted to do that, then I could just shorten it and make a smaller zipper. Just sew right through the end of my zipper, and then I would have a smaller bag. And that would be okay. The one thing I want to say about the zippers is that when we go to cut it, however long your zipper is, we're going to cut the sides of our bag the same width. And that's going to give us some space at the end of the zipper so that we can sew in that zipper and not get a big hole at the end of the zipper. So if you use a metal zipper, you can see it's got a little bit more polished sort of look to it. When you do go to sew the side of your zipper, you want to make sure that you're not going to sew into the end of the stop, because you'll bust a zipper and nobody wants that. So if you use a metal zipper, just be aware of that. Number 3, there's a hole in my zipper. How do we deal with the hole in the end of the zipper? Okay, so this is just an example bag that I got for this, and you can see I just started to sew one of the side seams. You can see there's a hole in the end of my zipper. Let me grab my chopstick so you can see that a little bit better. So you can see I can stick my chopstick right through the hole. And so what happened there, if we turn the bag right the wrong side out again, I sewed too close to the edge of the fabric and not close enough to the end of the zipper stop. So here's how we fix this. I'm going to feel with my hand right where the end of the zipper stop is, and I am going to draw a line. So that's the end of my zipper. I'm just going to go a little tiny bit past that, and I am just going to draw a line and make sure that it's all nice and straight and whatnot. So this time, when I go over my zipper, I'm just going to go right there, and that should take care of the end of my zipper. Okay, so you can see the second line that I did that, and let's just see how the end of the zipper looks now. that I sewed a little bit closer to the end of the zipper. And I would say about 1/8 of an inch past the end of the zipper stop is what's going to give you the best looking end to your zipper. Okay, so if I just pull that out, see, no hole, no hole. It's just a little bit tiny past where my zipper stop ends, but it's also it's not big enough that it's gonna be a hole, and it's also gonna sit really nicely on the top of my bag. Number 4, my last frequently asked question. The ends of my zipper look kind of lumpy. What happens? Okay, so what happens if you get a lumpy zipper? One of two things has happened. Okay, so let's look at the other side of this zipper. So if you look at it, when I went to go sew this, I didn't have the lining. I didn't have this end of the zipper facing the lining. It's now facing the other side. So if I zip this up, because the end, I didn't have quite the end. See how it's not quite sharp. It's not quite sharp at the end, and that's because the lining is not facing the edge of it. It's actually not too bad, but it can definitely, if you have, especially if one of the fabrics is thicker, if that lining isn't facing, if the end of the zipper isn't facing towards the lining, it can really pull it off and really suck the zipper inside the seam. So that's one possibility. The other possibility, you can see that zipper is just like really lumpy at the end, and you can't even find the end of the zipper. The other possibility is that you just didn't trim it right, and that we just need a really good press at the end. Okay, so let's turn this back to the wrong side. I still have my hole. I haven't closed up the hole yet on this one. I have not trimmed this guy at all. So I am just going to trim it. I'm going to trim the corners. And I'm just going to trim my ends. Somewhere between 1/4 inch and 3/8 of an inch from the ends of all of your seams is where we want to trim it to. That's just going to keep all of the bulk out of the seam, and it's going to make for really the best looking bag at the end of it all. Okay, so now I'm going to turn it through my opening in my zipper, and let's see what we end up with. Just going to work out those edges with my fingers. And, you know, don't forget the power of the chopstick. Don't forget the power of the chopstick. Just use your chopstick to kind of point out those corners, and you can use your fingers too to kind of just tease those corners out a little bit. You really get in there with that chopstick. The flannel really likes to stick a lot. And then especially with the end of the zipper, just use your fingers to really get in there. And you can use the end of your chopstick again to just get in there and pull everybody out. And you can see that it's much less lumpy at the end. I am gonna go ahead and give this guy a press before I finish off this guy off, and obviously I need to close the hole. But you can see just with a little bit of extra trimming and with a little bit of extra work with the chopstick, we get a much square, much better looking bag. So that is all the ways that you can make your bags better. So that's all there is to make a 7-minute zipper bag. I call it a 7-minute zipper bag because it's literally all that it takes you to make it. Maybe not the first time, but definitely once you get into the habit of doing this, it's really so quick. There is no faster way to make a zipper bag. I'm convinced that there's no faster way to make a zipper bag. But I love them. They're great. My kids keep little doodads in them. We've got puzzle pieces. Sometimes we keep chess pieces in them. We keep just little odds and ends, anything you need to put in there. They're great for makeup. They're wonderful for gifts. If you are going to a wedding and want to make like little gifts that you can put in there for bridesmaids or something like that, that's a really great thing. You could put seeds in there for a gardener. You could do all kinds of stuff. So they're awesome for gifts, and you can make so many of them because they're so quick. They're so quick. You can make a whole bunch of them for whoever it is that you're making gifts for. So I love them. They're wonderful. And if you make your own zipper bags, like, let me know about it. I'd totally love to see them. You can always tag me on Instagram at Elizabeth Made This. Just go make zipper bags. Make all the zipper bags. I hope you had a good time with that, and thank you so much for subscribing to Elizabeth Made This, and I will see you in another video. Bye!